Imagine this. You're sitting across from a loan officer, ready to finally refinance your home. Or maybe you're at a government agency trying to update your legal name. You confidently slide over that one-page divorce document you brought with you. But instead of a stamp of approval, the clerk just shakes their head. They tell you that what you've got is just a certificate, and they actually need the 20-page divorce decree to move forward. Boom. Suddenly, your big life event just hit a massive brick wall. If you're navigating Washington's legal system, this scenario is surprisingly common. So welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to make absolutely sure you never find yourself in that frustrating situation.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start by explaining exactly what a divorce decree is, then we'll look at Washington's specific legal system. After that, we'll go through a step-by-step retrieval guide, talk about overcoming some common roadblocks, point you towards some great resources, and finally, wrap things up with a quick disclaimer.
All right, jumping right into Section 1, the divorce decree explained.
So why did the bank reject your paperwork? Well, before you can request anything, you need to know exactly what document you're actually hunting for. If you've ever been turned away during a name change, a passport application, or, a mortgage refinancing, it's almost certainly because you brought the wrong piece of paper. And look, it's an incredibly easy mistake to make, mostly because Washington issues two completely different documents when a marriage ends, and to make matters worse, they're managed by two completely different branches of government. This comparison right here really brilliantly illustrates the difference. On one hand, you have the divorce decree. This is the big one. It's a highly detailed, multi-page judicial order issued by a superior court judge. We're talking 20 pages or more outlining the exact legally binding terms of your split, stuff like child custody, property division, and spousal support. Now, on the other hand, you have the divorce certificate. This is merely an administrative vital record managed by the Department of Health. It's just a single page, printed on security paper, that simply confirms, yep, the marriage ended. It doesn't say a word about who gets the house or the kids. So if a bank or an agency needs to verify financial terms, that one-page certificate is totally useless to them. They literally need the full decree. Moving on to Section 2, Washington's legal system. Washington state handles these records in a very specific way, and understanding this framework is absolutely key to finding your documents. First off, Washington is a strict no-fault state. That means the only legal ground required to file for divorce is simply that the marriage is irretrievably broken. So why does this matter for your records? Well, it means your decree isn't going to be some dramatic historical record of marital misconduct. The courts simply don't investigate who caused the breakdown. Instead, your decree focuses entirely on the equitable division of your life, your assets, and your parenting plans. You're also going to see some strict timelines reflected in these records. The number 90 is incredibly important here. Washington actually enforces a mandatory minimum 90-day waiting period, starting from the date the respondent is served, before a judge can even sign that final decree. So if you're looking for a decree and you happen to know the filing date, you can automatically calculate that the decree itself couldn't possibly exist until at least 3 months after that initial filing. Kind of helpful for narrowing down your search, right?
Let's get into the good stuff. Section 3, Step-by-Step Retrieval Guide.
Now that we know exactly what we're looking for and how the state operates, here is your simple roadmap to getting that actual document into your hands. Just treat this like a straightforward 4-step mission. Step 1, identify the county where the divorce was finalized. Step 2, locate your specific case number. Step 3, contact the superior court clerk in that specific county. And finally, Step 4, submit your request and pay the required fee. Let's break down exactly how to execute each of these steps. First things first, before approaching the clerk, you absolutely must gather your key details. You wouldn't go to a library without knowing the title of the book you want, right? Same idea here. You need the exact legal names both spouses used during the divorce. You also need the approximate date it was finalized, and crucially, the county of filing. And hey, keep in mind, the county where you divorced might be completely different from the county where you live right now. But what if you've completely lost your paperwork and you have no idea what your case number is? Don't panic. You can use what is essentially the state's skeleton key. It's called the Washington Courts Odyssey Portal. Basically, this is a statewide online search engine that catalogs civil and domestic relations cases. By just plugging in the legal names of the parties, you can usually uncover your exact case number and the county jurisdiction right from your own computer. It's a real game changer. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that once you find the right county, every local clerk kind of has their own unique system. For example, if your divorce was in King County, you actually have to go through the Department of Judicial Administration, or the DJA. They use a specific system called the KC Script portal where you can view and download documents online.
You can also request them by mail. But just a heads up, make sure you include a self-addressed stamped envelope or they're going to hit you with a $10 surcharge. Other counties might require you to use different portals or even visit an in-person kiosk. And remember, take a really close look at this Department of Health order form. You have to make sure you're applying to the right place, because if you fill this out and pay your $25, you are only going to receive that one-page certificate. The Department of Health explicitly states they do not have divorce decrees. The whole shebang, the decrees, those live exclusively with the county courts. Okay, Section 4, overcoming common roadblocks. So, even with the best roadmap in the world, you might still encounter a few bureaucratic boss battles along the way. Let's look at the most common hurdles people face when hunting down their decree. A really frequent obstacle is trying to pull your record only to find out that portions of it, or sometimes even the entire file, have been legally sealed from the general public. While divorce records are generally public in Washington, there are definitely strict exceptions.
And this brings us to Washington's General Rule 22, often just called GR 22. This rule protects sensitive financial and personal data from public view. We're talking about things like bank account numbers, social security details, and the names of minor children. All of that gets heavily redacted. Now, if you are a party to the case, you can access the unredacted versions, for sure, but you will very likely have to prove your identity to the court clerk to actually get your hands on them.
Another super tricky roadblock involves older cases. Let's say you're doing some genealogy research, or maybe helping out an older relative. Well, if the divorce was finalized prior to 1968, the State Department of Health won't have any record of it at all, not even a certificate. So for absolutely anything pre-1968, you must rely entirely on the local county clerk's archives. Moving on to Section 5, additional resources and legal assistance. Look, you do not have to navigate this completely alone if you get stuck in the system. You have some really great tools at your disposal. The Washington Court Self-Help website is a fantastic starting point for finding court records. And definitely don't underestimate the local county clerk staff either. While they legally cannot give you legal advice, they are usually incredibly helpful with administrative questions and helping you navigate their specific filing systems. Oh, and if you realize you actually do just need the simple one-page certificate, authorized third-party services like VitalCheck can process those state records really quickly. However, we need to be clear. There is a hard line between administrative help and legal necessity. If you discover your necessary documents are entirely sealed and you need to formally unseal them, or, if you're pulling your decree because you need to modify child support or force an ex-spouse to comply with the financial terms written in that decree, well, then it is absolutely time to hire a qualified family law attorney. A website or an administrative portal just cannot help you enforce the law. All right, Section 6. Wrap-up and disclaimer. We've covered a whole lot of ground today, haven't we? So here are the big takeaways for your final checklist. Number 1, always verify which document you actually need, but know that for major legal and financial changes, you need the full multi-page decree from the court, not the short certificate from the Department of Health. Number 2, use the Washington Court's Odyssey portal to grab your case number online before you do anything else. It'll save you so much time. And number 3, reach out directly to the specific county clerk where the divorce happened to get your certified copy. And now for a quick but super important note. Please remember that the information provided in this explainer is strictly for educational and administrative purposes. It's really just meant to help you navigate document retrieval, but it does not constitute personalized legal advice. Always consult with a qualified attorney for legal counsel related to your specific individual circumstances. So before you close out of this explainer today, I want you to ask yourself a vital question. Is your multi-page divorce decree safely filed away in your home right now? Or is it kind of lost in a box somewhere in the attic? Don't wait for a bank or a government agency to reject your application. Start your retrieval quest today using the steps we discussed. And hey, be sure to check the description box for links to all those state portals we mentioned. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and best of luck getting your records.